Welcome to For the Culture.
Welcome to For the Culture.
Another week, another show. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let everybody do the introductions. So,
I'm Remy, Rems, however you know me. This is For the Culture.
You already know it's your boy Orange's Media For the Culture.
And we have our special guest today.
Swe Decapolis. What's up, y'all?
What's up, man?
What's up?
So, let everybody know what you do. Like,
I'm a hip-hop and trap artist. I'm upcoming out of Orlando, Florida. You know, I'm all about the fashion and art as well, but I'm just trying to put on for the city.
okay.
That's what's up.
So, with like your most recent projects, like, what are you doing to basically get them out to the people? Like, where can they find everything at? And like,
Basically, you can find me on Swe Decapolis, SWE, for Smoke Weed Every Day, on all sites, and that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all social medias, YouTube, SoundCloud. Right now, I'm just working on to put the project out. It's called Hash Oil High Concentrate, and I'm be putting that out and doing a 1-year campaign here in Orlando, Florida, to pretty much put myself on, get myself heard. You know what I mean? Make a placement in the city.
Also, I got a question for you. All right, you deemed your style hip hop and trap.
Yeah.
Right now, that's the top of the top. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop trap. You know what I'm saying? A lot of cats doing it. What makes you different from the next?
I think I bring a different sound, my story. I did a lot of traveling. That's where Decapolis comes from, 10 cities, Deca and Polis, because I grew up traveling around place to place, you know what I mean? And I took in, like, for the culture, I took in many different cultures, many different styles, and you know, lived a life, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like my story, my sound, and like pretty much like that taste of original hip-hop, end with the trap, of course, you know what I'm saying? But I think that brings something new and fresh.
Dope.
Yeah.
so Sway. So, smoke weed every day is what it stands for.
Yeah. Smoke weed every day.
You smoke weed every day?
Every day.
What kind of weed? You got gas?
Gas.
You got the mid, or you just flaking the Reggie out here on
gas
the block?
only. Gas only.
Gas
I
only?
do a thing. I got a thing coming up called the Cap Hash, where I had a promo going out where like I had these vape pens, and it has hash oil in it, live resin, and they normally be anywhere from 88 to 90% THC.
Okay, so you really out here smoking weed?
Yeah.
The
High
highest levels
concentrates, you
possible.
know. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you fucking with the shatter and everything.
Oh yeah. It's a new time, man. You know what I'm saying? We got almost half our country with some type of medicinal or recreational marijuana going on. So, you know, getting hip and staying with it, that's where my lane is though. The marijuana lane. Even though in some areas it's hard to accept for some people, that's where I find my persona and personality at.
So is all your music around that topic?
No.
Is it,
not by any
What's the topic that you know what I'm saying, topics that you cover?
I mean, I like to cover real life, my own story, relatable stories for others, like the people that are really out here in the struggle, my people that are doing a 9 to 5 and on the grind, of course for the ladies, you know what I'm saying, and not just, I like make music that other brothers can vibe to, because you make too soft of music, it's hard for another man, even though no matter how much love he gonna be in this woman, he ain't gonna express it like that.
Right.
But the right song, any man will express it through.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I like to do that in my form.
So where can we find the music?
SoundCloud, YouTube. I'm fixing to get Spotify and iTunes popping off. I'm gonna make a release out of the Hash Oil High Concentrate mixtape. And that's what I'm making the steps. It's going to be a 1-year campaign that I'm going to be doing. So I've just been getting all the pieces together because I choose quality, you know, and time as opposed to like a rush job and quantity and just trying to be everywhere and doing everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
So also, anything been going on recently, like basically your personal life, like?
I mean, I just had a newborn baby. Shout out to my daughter Irie. You know, beautiful baby girl, man. She's keeping me up late at night, but it's all the way worth it. I'm pro-life like crazy, man. I love my kids.
Nice.
So, yeah.
No doubt. I got a question for you, man. You know, when everybody, you know, get famous, you know what I'm saying, they get to talk to a different tier of ladies. So I got a question for you. If one of those Kardashians approach you at a party, are you going that way or are you going the other way? Which way are you going? Because you know it might help the brand. Just know.
Yeah,
What you
it
think?
could help the brand, but I mean, I honestly believe that you create what you put into existence. You know what you're really getting up and going, making an effort for. That's where physical creation will happen.
Right.
I feel like me personally, I won't need to settle for a gimmick to get myself clout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and then scratch a Kardashian. Any nigga that's ever messed with a Kardashian is like
Right.
plummeted. Even Kanye, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not saying he's plummeted, but he ain't nowhere to be found right
No
now.
doubt.
It look good on the up end, but
Yeah.
that down end slope is steep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You end up in some kind of hospital. That's not a good turnout right there.
Yeah.
They got a high turnover rate over there.
Yeah, Lamar and all them. Nah, that's not
You know
for
what I'm
me.
saying?
Yeah.
Speaking about hospitals, like y'all heard about the riots that's going down in Charlotte and other places.
Charlestonville,
my bad.
Where's that again? Like, cause I know like Charlotte, I know Charleston, but Charlestonville.
Charlottesville,
Virginia.
it's
Oh, okay,
Virginia.
it's VA.
So
Okay.
Still Virginia been acting up like everywhere. Like fucking, they ever since that election, they went from being scared to bold out here. They're like, fuck it.
All right, so just to let me give like a scope, you know what I'm saying, for any of the listeners that's watching, anybody that's watching that don't know what's going on. All right, so the Robert E. Lee statue, one of the generals for the Confederacy, they end up taking a council, end up voting to take that statue down because of what it represented. It represented, the Confederacy. So when they took it down, a lot of young white people felt very offended. So they were marching, protesting.
I would say it was a mixed
throwing up
crowd.
swastikas, Nazis, and stuff like that.
It was a good
Well, yeah,
range.
probably young. Yeah, it's
young to
young
old.
and old white males,
old.
males and females, right?
Middle age, all kinds of
males
stuff.
and females.
They had tikis
So that
and
was
everything.
the issue.
I watching like the news and stuff where they doing like the interviews with the people. Like these dudes is hella out here fucking. Like it's just people trying to stop from protesting. They putting their hands on people. Like you don't gotta do all that. If you claim that you're a peaceful protest, like some of the I don't know the dude's name, but I'm quoting this man. He said if we have to, people would die. They're just gonna be a risk in the situation. Like that's not a mindset you should go out there for peaceful protest. Like that's no longer a peaceful protest. This man just came on camera. They still gonna let him walk out there.
Yeah. See, I think that hostilities rose when it was counter protesters. There was counter protesters out there, and there were majority of protesters, and they got into scuffles. And did y'all see that thing where like the dude drove into like a crowd of people and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So that's how a lot of
from
those
multiple angles.
conflicts start happening.
One thing I thought was funny was at first, this is what kind of made me look at the whole situation from a top view, was that when they were showing the pictures on CNN, they was blurring out the license plate. And it took them about 24 hours before they actually identified who the actual vehicle owner was and all this and that. And they could have found that out like
Minutes.
right then and there. Anybody could have found that out, public
anybody
information.
found that out?
Like,
anybody found that out? You mean the neighbor could have found out?
Yeah.
But hold on, I did see that nigga shit was right.
Yeah, like
they would let his doors up.
Yeah, so that to me was kind of, crazy. And then the numbers wasn't right. First 19 people were hurt, and then there was 15 others hurt. So then there was 34 injured, 1 dead. Then there was 3 people dead, 19 injured. So there was a lot of flaws in the press, and it kind of felt like something was kind of orchestrated. It felt like, and now they're trying to say that the courts aren't gonna try this as murder, probably as involuntary vehicular manslaughter. Like I don't even know what do you charge somebody for. You don't charge them for murder, So there's a lot of things that this whole riot thing just brought up, So it's.
I have a question for our guests. Being that you are an MC, you are hip hop, trap. What's your viewpoint? Do you think that's your lane to speak out on, or do you feel like you kind of need to kind of stay in your lane and just stick to the music? Where do you?
I think speaking out is being in my lane. As an artist, we're considered public figures. We're major influences in people's lives. Their styles, the way they talk, even right down to other artists and the way they rap. Artists are inspired by other artists.
But do you do it through music, or do you do it?
No, I think you should be speaking out. One, in your music, you could put out, because everybody is expressing but you should definitely be able and be comfortable and willing to make an immediate statement on how you should really feel and how the people feels in relation with you. Because most of the time you're gonna agree if you're gonna agree with the struggle. You're gonna agree with pain. We're gonna agree with racism. We're gonna agree with all that stuff for the culture. Am I wrong?
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very important role for artists to speak out and for situations like this, to be aware of what's going on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that.
Morning for the culture.
Morning.
Word.
What's going on?
Damn, that's a killer mic on
How's
that.
it going?
Hey, man. I want to say, man, I feel I got some different feelings about the Charlottesville situation, man, because of what's really going on and stuff that's been going on, man.
Well, tell us
Okay,
how you
okay.
feel,
You're
man.
aware. I'm sure
try-
you're aware.
We try to listen in. What you got?
I feel like Southerners trying to, represent the Confederacy. It's all they got to hold on to for real. And it's just like, a state flag for real, because it was all a state. It was all a union. So I feel like, what it represents is way more than what they did to black people, because the union had messed us over as well. But
True,
that's the
true.
stuff that's pushed under the rug. The union didn't want to let us let us vote. And, they was taxing us without representation, and the union as well. So I really feel like, we can't really, we got to let them be ignorant, man, and let them have their ignorant thoughts, man. And I know it's gotten too far with the guy running the people over and all of that, man. And, they only charging him with, I don't know if they upgraded the charges, but with them only charging him with those I want to say BS charges, I feel like
Tell me about it.
I feel like the country is at a standstill right now, and it's more to come with Donald Trump. So we should really expect what Trump did. But
Yeah.
as far as with everything else, like Charlottesville, it's been happening every day.
Yeah.
What are y'all?
Well, all right. So I kind of disagree on your situation where you kind of trying to set I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you kind of said you want to turn a blind eye on letting them keep that. But it's still like with that situation there, you give them that one, they may take a step and end up running through. But all right, now we want old shit back. We still want cotton fields to grow through with with little children running through picking these motherfucking shits out. Like, you don't know how far they trying to go with this. You don't know what their intentions
I mean,
are.
it does set like a precedent that, it's okay to do this, especially when you get that kind of, encouragement from a president who doesn't speak up about it. I mean, you got companies who are speaking up more about them using those tikis in those protests than the president is speaking about, about the actual things that happen, you know what I'm saying, and the people who are involved, all the, supremacists and, all the haters and all that stuff. So it's one of those things that's like, damn, if the president doesn't speak on it, what you don't condemn is kind of like what you condone. So
You are right about that. Definitely right about that.
All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? My thoughts on it is symbols are powerful. That statue been up there for how long? And we didn't even know that was even that many white people pissed off and could congregate at that one moment. But just like when you cut the grass, the snakes to show. So when they knocked that statue down, it brought all of them out, and that's what needs to be exposed. That this is how America feels. Still, the Confederates lost. We in America do not celebrate any losers. We celebrate the victories that we won. If they lost, then there's no reason for it to be celebrated.
I hear that. I hear that. That's a good way to put it. In retrospect, I feel like, let's say.
All right, we got to go. We'll talk to you later.
I feel like if the gay community, all their rights were taken away, would they feel like they lost in America, and all of these rainbow flags and all of these rainbow statues and rainbow elements on monuments, would they lose, and would their rights be the same? Would we be mad at them if they protested?
That's a good question. I mean, that's something that, say after the whole, what was that? The purge incident?
The Pulse
incident.
Pulse nightclub.
After the Pulse nightclub incident, I mean, you got all kinds of representations of those sort of things in Orlando. And let's say somebody started taking down some of those representations and those flags, would people react the same? That's one hell of a question. I don't know. But
we'll leave it up to the viewers to decide, and we're going to move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
All right, thank y'all for having me, man.
All right.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
What it do, man? This is your boy Trill. This is another episode. You already know weather or not. You know what I'm saying? Brought to you by Acapana. I drink it all. I'm about to go to the store get some more. But my soul, beautiful, baby. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, baby. You know what I'm saying? But look, if we out here, you know what I'm saying? Got to bring y'all the weather report. We're in the beautiful Miami Beach. You know what I'm saying? Weather today, 89 degrees, partly cloudy. But if you don't see all this sun and the part of wet cloud, y'all need these. The iPhone shit, bro. Let me tell you this. Shout out to iPhone, because they got something that's on your hip, bro. But look, this shit had your day fucked up, bro. You was out here thinking the part of the cloud gonna be out here and no sun. Bitch, I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Get it. You know what I'm saying? Orlando, what it do, man? Woo. Rain. 92 degrees. I don't know, because I ain't there, so you on the road, be safe. You know what I'm saying? That's what I can say. You know what I mean? That's what I can say. Oh, shout out to Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? Today they said raining. Bro, I don't know. Something wrong with this, bro. So I'm going to just say it like this, bro. The sun is out. They talking about it's raining. You believe what the fuck you want to believe, dog. I'm going to these damn events, bro, because he got to get it popping, dog. This week, it's a lot of shit going down, you know what I'm saying? We got reggae Sundays, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you slide out to reggae Sundays at the Wynwood Yard. Right around the corner, you know what I'm saying? We out here, you know what I'm saying? What else we got? Well, you know, we got some haters on you, bro. Like, nigga trying to get it, bro. Niggas be hating. Oh, Beetlejuice, bro. They showing Beetlejuice the weekend, you know what I'm saying? We go in the room and say, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Don't nothing happen. It's really, bro. Anyway, WWE, they slide to Miami. If y'all into that wrestling, Diamond Dallas Page, that used to be my nigga Stone Cold. Shout out to Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and all the niggas who like the you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we out here, baby. We out here, bro. I represent. You know what I'm saying? Oh, damn, we missed it. J. Cole came on Monday. It what it is. But hey, Soledad. Oh shit, she gonna be here Thursday. Slide for that. You know what I'm saying? Where we at, bro? Manual Airtime Theater. Yeah, we out there. But look, man, that's what it do. That's what it is. It's for the culture. We bring it to you straight, live, direct. I'm out here, stunting, shining, get it. Holla at me on the flip side, baby.
So how do y'all feel about the whole incident with Ezekiel Elliott and the NFL and just overall the organization, I would say?
Explain the situation first for people so people can get the full context.
Well, currently Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended for 6 games for a past incident involving him and his ex-girlfriend over the course of a 5-day time period. He supposedly abused her physically, and now the NFL feels that they have enough evidence, even though the authorities looked over the same evidence, the same text messages and all that, the same information, and they didn't find credibility in the witness's statement. I believe her name is Tiffany, I forgot her name.
It don't matter.
But basically, overall, they didn't find enough evidence to legally charge Ezekiel Elliott for the incident, but the NFL looked over the same material, and I guess due to the past incidents with Ray Rice and so on, they felt like they wanted to make an example by suspending him for 6 games, which to me, 6 games is a slap on the wrist anyway. I think the bigger ordeal is the fact that there's a failure in the leadership of the organization.
Yeah, and then also, well, this is not not a complete failure, but they already suspended him. So, like, say something does happen later on in the season to where the investigation gets reopened or something like that, he already taken disciplinary action. So it's kind of, you still got to think the NFL as a business.
Right.
You take those first 6 games out, and then if something does happen to where his case goes on and it does go back on him, you don't got to get him for those last 6 games. He already took his disciplinary action.
I think a lot of it is perception. I think it's one of those things, the owner is already backing Ezekiel on this overall, and it's one of those things that they kind of were forced to do. Is Ezekiel getting paid for these suspensions? We don't
No,
even
you
know.
don't get paid for suspensions. But they went to the Super Bowl last year. So you don't want to have your star running back. You could deal with your third, second string running back getting smacked all the beginning of the season.
Right.
Everybody playing against him.
Yeah.
Like, and he could still go to practice.
Right.
Week 7 come out, you got Ezekiel Elliott just running through food. They ain't practice against this man.
I guess.
Just to add, one thing they didn't do, they didn't question Ezekiel Elliott and get his side. They didn't question the young lady.
Exactly.
They just took the situation and then they stopped him, with 6 games. They made him guilty without even knowing whether he was innocent or not. And I think that's what the big problem is. They didn't even do their own investigation. They just took the situation and did it. So he's absolutely wrong. He's absolutely paying for the publicity of it. Because just like with the Ray Rice situation, they had the videotape. They knew what happened. It wasn't until it became public knowledge is when they went ahead and suspended him. So they're just trying to cover their butt. And it's very apparent. So that's why it's a controversy now.
The NFL won't let another O.J. Simpson happen.
Right.
They won't let, because they seriously put them, you know what I mean?
Right.
As a football player, O.J. Simpson, so they don't want the same thing. I mean, Aaron Hernandez,
Yeah.
you anything that has to do with, like, a football player and violence is always on a high degree.
Exactly.
For, like, almost anything.
And it sends a message. I mean, punishment is good PR. So by them doing something, and even after it being so long, by them doing something, it sends a message that, the NFL, has their own burden of proof, their own burden of innocence towards players and their actions. So a lot of people are questioning that, is that right for them to have their own standard of burden of proof versus what the law says? Because if the law clears you, shouldn't that exonerate you?
Well, nah, not all the time. Like, shit, even there's a lot of places that do it. Even though you get away, that's like your job. Like, say you got a DUI, like just driving down the street.
Mm-hmm.
You get slapped on the wrist by the police, but you go back to your job. They're like, oh, we can no longer have you. That's in the same situation. He did something that got the public attention.
Right.
He had to deal with authority.
He represents the NFL.
Exactly.
He's under that banner. That's a good conclusion.
So, like, other than Ezekiel Elliott, like, is anyone an Oakland Raiders fan? I'm personally not. I'm a 49ers fan.
What's going on in Oakland?
Marshawn Lynch. He sat down during the during the national anthem.
That's a good one.
So, at least someone in the Bay Area is at least feeling the same way with Kaepernick. Like, he's like, you know what, y'all push Kaepernick out of the area. Now I'm gonna do the same thing.
I think what's happening in the NFL is also with this whole the national anthem protest. I think what's happening is that it's also showing another side of their failure to lead in the NFL and to allow players to have their own democracy. And when you do that, you kind of do present that old kind of slave mentality that we run you, you wear our uniform, we pay the bills, so therefore whatever you do, we kind of, run shit around here. And with this whole Kaepernick thing, the cool thing that's happening is that the same thing that happens in any revolutionary period when they try to single out one leader is that everybody becomes the leader, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the V for Vendetta thing happening, where it's like, okay, so Kaepernick can't get a job, so all right, I'm going to be your leading running back this year, and I'm going to take a kneel. How about that? Are you going to give me a job? And then you see other guys, they're doing other things. They're putting the fist up. They're wearing wristbands. They're doing other things to show that they're in revolt too. So little by little, it's going to happen to where they gotta pay somebody. They can't fire everybody. They can't blacklist everybody.
You talking about they could have an all-Asian football league going down next month on CNN.
You know what? And just to kind of put a little, dagger in kind of what you guys said, Marshawn Lynch isn't protesting. He isn't standing up for anything.
Mm-hmm.
With him sitting down, rather, for the past 11 years, he never stood up.
Yeah.
He never stood up for the national anthem. So this is just what he does. People are just noticing him now because of Colin Kaepernick. We already know, who Marshawn Lynch is, what he does in the Oakland area.
Right.
He definitely, does it. Now with the rest of the NFL players, it's one of those things where you have a chessboard on top of all of the NFL players. But once everybody stand up, they'll knock the whole chessboard over. These people, these NFL players are not standing up. If even 5 of them did, out of all the players that it would not only get Colin Kaepernick a job, but it would force the NFL to change things. A lot of these, all of them except for Colin Kaepernick and Marshawn Lynch are some, you know what I want to call them, because that's all they got to do. You know what? I can sacrifice $1 million for the year. We're gonna stand up for what this person is standing up for to get him a job, and they're not doing that. Everybody's pants is and they're not doing it.
A lot of players are speaking about it, but they're not doing anything about it. You know, that's the difference.
They're not even speaking. They're giving.
They're saying it's bad, it's wrong. That they're even saying Kaepernick is one of the better. What's his name? Sherman. Richard Sherman. He was speaking out on it. He was saying that, hey, you know, Kaepernick is definitely better than at least 5 other starting quarterbacks in the league right now. He was naming them. But the thing about it is, what is he doing? You know, imagine if Sherman and other guys from other teams just all said, you know what, for the next 10 games, we're not going to do anything for the next
one. Disagree. Are they $1 million slaves?
You know?
Is the NFL players $1 million slaves?
I think that's a question that
they have to listen to their owners. You better not rise up against me, because if you rise up against me, we're going to show you this example of this one player. I mean,
I don't know. It's right now. It's just those ones.
I mean, that's a real question though. Think about it like this though: who's in more position to help Kaepernick? The people that follow him, or the people who actually play with him?
Shit,
followers.
I think followers.
You think like us, like by not like watching the NFL or something like that, could do more than.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
His peers.
I think his peers could do a lot more for him. I think his peers have a lot more resources.
Now, like say like fucking.
Than even the millions of the fans who follow Kaepernick in the NFL. I think his peers could do a lot more for him. 10 of his peers could do a lot more than 100 of us.
Say 5 of his peers go to say something and they get kicked out of the NFL too. Now you like, oh shit.
But you're not
even if they all got kicked off, they still be better off than the 100 of us. Who go after it.
You see how many NFL players go broke?
It's one thing about a person that's standing alone, and it's another thing, you know what I'm saying, where it's like 5, 6 people. Then you know what I'm saying. Then you really like, you know what I'm saying. I'm just
talking about power. I'm just talking about power and influence.
But
in terms of power, and influence, 10 of his peers can do far more than a million.
You still gotta have both. Now, if you have
both, if you have 1 million, 2 million people boycott the NFL, then that does send a lot of money.
Now, imagine the numbers to where a team still has to pay those players millions of dollars, but they're not getting ticket sales. They're fucked. Your whole organization is dropped.
Right.
So if the fans take that shit out, like, you know what, if I really fuck with Kaepernick or I stand with the movement, take a step back. You can watch something else.
But
I know you ain't gonna watch no soccer, but
let's rewind that. It's not fans, it's black fans. Yeah. When I watch basketball games, when I see football teams, I see majority white faces. You know what I'm saying? So the black fans boycott, it probably won't even put a dent up in there. But the black players, his peers, oh yeah. It's a way more dent in it because of who plays in there. And like I said before, he's standing up against police brutality. Mm-hmm. If you're not standing with him, then you're saying that it's okay.
I mean, but it's an American issue because it's one of those things that, you know, if the white fans don't speak out on it too, then what is that?
And they haven't. There's none that have.
You know, so again, it's kind of like, yeah, you know, what does that mean? Have any white players?
And the reason why they haven't, the reason why the white people haven't is because we can't even we can't even agree, you know what I'm saying, to stand for one issue, to even go to a white person and say like y'all need to stand with us because we don't even stand with each other. Right. So once we do that, then everything else fall like a domino.
So I think that one thing that's important is any uprising, even as like, you know, an ethnic background, is always started with the people. I feel like we are too scared to step out and say something because why? Majority of the NFL and college basketball, along with a lot of other sports, is what? Ethnic background and African Americans. Mm-hmm. Now imagine if we told all these families and all these people, we tried to influence them to stop football, and most of these kids got dreams to play football. They go into camps and all these stuff, and that's what they want to do.
It's like a religion in our country.
Yeah, and then a lot of these players is they looking at their careers. They're not looking at the whole, because when it's something that controversial, what most people do, they're like, well, I know this is a lot, man, but
I got my own life, I got my career. It's self-fear. You know what I mean?
Everybody got a job.
We've desensitized our people to be more scared than surviving and pushing through and standing up for something that we truly believe in. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter how much there is when we eliminate the fear. Because if there's an announcement on the television for everyone to do a certain thing, or it's going to kill you, they're going to stop. They're going to stop doing that thing. And it's going to be known like, yo, you're not doing that, right? You heard it's going to kill you. So it's the same thing when we could get our people broadbanded like that. We're like, yo, the NFL, no go. They slaving. They, you know what I mean? They putting us out there to look bad, and it's a racial war now. You know what I mean? That's, you know what I mean? That's just an example on how we can get the people. You know, it's all about the people, rising with the people, winning with the people.
I mean, that's a whole nother.
All right, well, we about to wrap it
Let's
on
wrap
up.
it up.
This is for the culture. Also, if you have anyone discussions, you know, go ahead and hit us up. All social medias. Everybody, you know, this is your boy Black AP. Find me at your mom's favorite Negro on all social medias. We got Sway.
Thanks for having me, yo. It's your boy Swe Decapolis. Catch me on all sites at Swe Decapolis. Sway, SWE, for smoke weed every day. Keep up for the culture. And, yo, look out for my upcoming mixtape, Hash Oil High Concentrate. Thank y'all.
Browns, catch me, Browns 30,000 on Instagram.
Orange's Media for the culture. Peace.
47 bad bitches on deck.